Admiral Reyna Blackwood stood at the viewport of the Terran Embassy on Nexus Station, watching the swirling colors of the galactic core beyond. After 3 years as humanity's ambassador to the Galactic Council, she had learned to maintain a perfect poker face. That skill served her well now as she processed the information on her quantum-encrypted tablet. The medical nanites Earth had shared with the Council weren't being used to cure diseases as promised. Instead, they were being weaponized. The proof was right here. Research logs, weapons tests, deployment plans, all transmitted by her network of informants throughout Council space. "You seem troubled, Ambassador Blackwood." The resonant voice belonged to High Counselor Nezarix, his crystalline form refracting the starlight as he approached. The luminary was considered one of Earth's strongest allies on the Council, but now she wondered if that too had been a deception. "Not at all, High Counselor," she replied smoothly, tucking the tablet away. "Simply contemplating the beauty of the galaxy we share." Indeed, Nazarix's crystalline segments shifted in what passed for a smile among his kind. Humanity's generosity in sharing their medical advances has brought us all closer together. The Council votes tomorrow on expanding the technology-sharing protocols. I trust Earth's delegation is prepared to support the measure. Of course, Reyna lied, her heart pounding even as her expression remained neutral. "Though I'll need to review the final provisions with my staff." As soon as Nazarix departed, she activated her secure quantum comlink to Earth. "Control, this is Blackwood. Priority 1 transmission for Director Sullivan." Moments later, the aged face of Dr. Marcus Sullivan appeared, his eyes sharp despite his years. "Go ahead, Admiral." "The Council is weaponizing everything we've given them, Marcus. The medical nanites, the regeneration protocols, all of it. I'm transmitting proof now." She began the encrypted data burst. "They're voting tomorrow to demand access to more of our technology. I think they're planning something big." Sullivan's expression remained carefully neutral, but she caught the slight tightening around his eyes. "I see. And how certain are you of this intelligence?" "Multiple independent sources, all verified. This isn't speculation, Marcus. They're preparing for war while pretending to be our allies." "I was afraid of this." Sullivan sighed, suddenly looking every one of his 70 years. "Activate Protocol Omega. Authorization Sullivan 77 Beta." Reyna felt her breath catch. Protocol Omega was the contingency they had hoped never to use. "Understood. How long should I maintain the facade?" "As long as possible. Vote in favor tomorrow. Continue playing the naive humans right up until they show their hand." His expression hardened. "They think we're children playing with technology we barely understand. Let them keep thinking that." "What about the defense grid? If they're planning an attack?" "Everything is in place, Admiral. Has been for decades. Just focus on your role and let us handle the rest." He managed a grim smile. "Humanity didn't survive this long by being as trusting as we pretend to be." After ending the transmission, Reyna returned to the viewport. Somewhere out there, Earth's real fleet waited in their deep ocean hangars. Ships that made the Council's finest vessels look primitive by comparison. Technology they had developed in secret, while sharing only their most basic advances. The next day, she voted to expand the technology-sharing protocols, playing her part perfectly. She smiled and made diplomatic small talk at the reception afterward. And when High Counselor Nazarix praised humanity's continued commitment to galactic cooperation, she thanked him warmly. But that night, as she prepared her daily intelligence report, she included a special code phrase. "The price of trust has become too high." Throughout Council space, sleeping agents would understand the message. Humanity's long deception was coming to an end. The only question was whether the Council would realize their mistake before it was too late. In her private quarters, Reyna accessed a heavily encrypted file containing the true specifications of Earth's military capabilities. The Council thought they were dealing with a young, naive species that had barely mastered faster-than-light travel. They had no idea that humanity had achieved quantum supremacy decades ago. or that the medical technology they were trying to weaponize was generations behind what Earth actually possessed. Computer, begin recording. She spoke into the darkness. Personal log. Admiral Rayna Blackwood. The Council has made their choice. They chose to see our openness as weakness, our willingness to share as naivety. Soon they'll learn what humanity is truly capable of. I only hope. She paused, choosing her words carefully. I only hope that when this is over, we can build something better from the ashes of their betrayal. The quantum transmitter hidden in her quarters sent the log entry to Earth through channels the Council couldn't detect, much less decrypt. Now all she could do was wait and watch as humanity's greatest deception entered its final phase. The Council thought they were springing a trap. They didn't realize they were walking into one that had been decades in the making. Dr. Marcus Sullivan's footsteps echoed through the vast underwater facility beneath the Mariana Trench. At 20 kilometers below the surface, Sanctuary Base Delta was humanity's best-kept secret. The quantum shielding that kept the crushing pressure at bay also made the facility completely undetectable to Council scanning technology. Status report. He called out as he entered the command center. The massive holographic display showed similar facilities activating across Earth's oceans. Technical Director Jasmine Park looked up from her console, her dark eyes intense. All systems are transitioning from dormant to active status. Quantum cores are warming up exactly as designed. 50 years of preparation is paying off. Everything works. Marcus allowed himself a small smile. When he'd first proposed the Quantum Defense Initiative back in 2085, many had called him paranoid. Why build a secret fleet when humanity had just made first contact with a seemingly peaceful galactic community? But enough people had shared his concerns about putting all of Earth's trust in alien hands. "Show me the Hyperion," he requested. The hologram shifted to display their flagship, a vessel that would redefine warfare. Nearly 3 kilometers long, its quantum-locked hull could absorb or redirect any known form of energy. Its weapons didn't fire beams or projectiles. They manipulated the fundamental forces of reality itself. Beautiful, isn't she? The voice belonged to Fleet Admiral Viktor Petrov, who had just arrived from Surface Command. Hard to believe we kept something this big hidden for so long. The Council sees what it expects to see, Marcus replied. They think we're children playing with toys we barely understand. Meanwhile, we've had 50 years to study their technology, improve upon it, and develop countermeasures for everything they might throw at us. Speaking of countermeasures, Jasmine interrupted. You should see this. She brought up a new hologram showing the Council's latest weapon designs, the ones they'd developed from Earth's shared medical technology. They've basically created a crude version of our old nanite weapons, the kind we abandoned decades ago as too primitive. Victor laughed, though there was no humor in it. They're so proud of themselves for weaponizing our cast-offs. Meanwhile, our actual military tech is so far beyond them, they wouldn't even recognize it as technology. A priority alert flashed across the main display. Admiral Blackwood's latest intelligence report was coming in from Nexus Station. Marcus quickly scanned it, his expression growing grave. The Council's moving faster than we anticipated. They're calling an emergency session to vote on securing Earth's quantum research facilities. Apparently, they're concerned about our reckless advancement and need to establish proper oversight for everyone's safety. How considerate of them, Victor growled. How long? 3 days. They're marshaling their fleet under the guise of a training exercise. Marcus turned to Jasmine. How many ships can we have ready in that time frame? She consulted her data. The Hyperion and 5 other capital ships are already at full readiness. We can have another 15 combat-ready within 48 hours. The rest will take longer to bring online after 50 years of dormancy. It'll have to be enough. Marcus activated the facility's quantum-secure communication system. This is Director Sullivan. Initialize Protocol Omega across all facilities. Authorization code Sullivan 77 Beta. Time to completion: 48 hours. Throughout Earth's oceans, Massive hangar doors began to open. Quantum drives hummed to life as ships that had waited half a century prepared for war. In the Mariana facility alone, over 3,000 personnel moved with practiced precision, implementing plans they had rehearsed countless times but never expected to actually use. "What about the surface fleet?" Victor asked. "The ones we let the Council see." "Admiral Blackwood will ensure they're positioned exactly where the Council expects them to be," Marcus replied. "Old ships with primitive weapons, crewed by soldiers who'll put up just enough resistance to be convincing. And our real weapons." Jasmine's fingers flew across her console, bringing up schematics for systems the Council couldn't even theorize existed. "Stay hidden until my direct command. When the Council commits their forces, when they think victory is within their grasp, that's when we show them what humanity is truly capable of." Marcus stared at the holographic display, watching as 50 years of preparation culminated in these crucial hours. In his office later that night, Marcus recorded what might be his final personal log. "History will judge whether we were right to be so cautious, to hide our true capabilities for so long. But looking at the Council's actions now, their casual betrayal of everything they claim to stand for, I believe we made the right choice. Humanity extended its hand in friendship, and they saw only an opportunity for conquest. Now they'll learn why every human culture has stories about the dangers of underestimating their prey." He paused, considering his next words carefully. "The Council thinks they're dealing with children who need guidance and oversight. They're about to discover that humanity has merely been patient, waiting to see their true faces before deciding how to proceed. And they won't like what we've become in the shadows of our own deception." As if to emphasize his words, a distant rumble shook the facility. Another massive ship powering up its quantum drive for the first time in 50 years. The game of pretense was nearly over. Soon, the galaxy would learn that humanity's greatest weapon wasn't its advanced technology or hidden fleets. It was patience. Fleet Commander Talon Ramirez watched from the bridge of the TES Defender as the Council's training exercise assembled at the edge of the Sol system. The Defender was everything the Council expected of humanity's flagship, impressive by the standards of a young spacefaring race, but hopelessly outmatched by their own vessels. The perfect bait. They're not even trying to hide their intentions anymore. His executive officer, Commander Diana West, noted as another wave of Council ships dropped out of hyperspace. "That's the fourth battle group in 6 hours. Why should they?" Talon replied, allowing a touch of manufactured worry to enter his voice for the benefit of any Council surveillance. "By their standards, we're primitives who barely understand the technology we're playing with. They probably expect us to surrender as soon as they make their demands." The tactical display showed over 300 Council vessels now, arranged in their standard invasion formation. Their energy signatures were carefully masked, but not well enough to fool the quantum sensors hidden throughout the solar system. The Council thought they were being subtle. In reality, Earth's defenders could read their capabilities down to the decimal. "Message from Surface Command," Diana announced. "They're asking about our status. Very prominently, on standard frequencies." Talon smiled. "Another piece of the deception. Send the response we prepared. Make sure to include those subtle hints of panic they'll be looking for." While the Council intercepted their classified communications, the real orders came through quantum-entangled channels they couldn't even detect. The surface fleet was to maintain position, playing the role of humanity's primary defense force until the trap was ready. "Sir," Diana's voice dropped to a whisper, though their private communications were secure. "Sanctuary Base Delta reports the Hyperion and her battle group are in position. They're just waiting for the Council to commit." "Excellent." Talon studied the tactical display again. "Let's give them something to commit to." He opened a channel to the rest of the surface fleet. "All ships, begin deployment pattern Delta. Make it look good, but remember, we're supposed to be inexperienced. Let them see our mistakes." The human ships moved into defensive positions around Earth, deliberately leaving subtle gaps in their coverage. To Council tacticians, it would look like the best effort of a species that didn't quite grasp proper fleet dynamics. In reality, each mistake was carefully calculated to draw the enemy into exactly the right positions. High above the ecliptic plane, cloaked quantum sensors recorded everything. The Council ships' shield harmonics, weapon configurations, power distributions, data that was already being processed by the true fleet waiting in the depths of Earth's oceans. Council flagship is transmitting, Diana reported. They're dropping the pretense. Direct demands for our surrender and immediate transfer of all quantum research facilities to their control. Right on schedule. Talon activated the ship's general address system. All hands, this is your commander. The moment we've prepared for has arrived. Whatever happens next, remember, everything depends on making our performance convincing. He switched to the diplomatic channel. This is Fleet Commander Ramirez to Council forces. We are a sovereign nation. Any attempt to seize our facilities will be considered an act of war. The response came from Grand Admiral Selkir himself, his reptilian features filling the main screen. You have 1 hour to reconsider, Commander. The Council will not allow such dangerous technology to remain in the hands of inexperienced species. The contempt in his voice was perfect. The Council's absolute certainty in their superiority would be their undoing. Keep monitoring their fleet movements, Talon ordered after closing the channel. I want to know the instant they start their attack run. The next hour was a masterpiece of misdirection. The surface fleet made a show of frantically preparing for battle, deliberately letting the Council intercept their communications. Planetary defense platforms powered up. The obvious ones, at least. The ones the Council was meant to see. Meanwhile, deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, the Hyperion and her battle group waited in perfect silence. The quantum drives that powered them didn't generate any detectable emissions. Their hulls, composed of materials that shouldn't exist by Council understanding of physics, were invisible to every known form of scanning. Multiple power spikes across the Council fleet, Diana reported as the hour drew to a close. They're charging weapons. Right where we want them. Talon opened a secure channel to Sanctuary Base Delta. Director Sullivan, the stage is set. Time to show them what humanity's really been doing for the past 50 years. Understood, Commander. Initiating Protocol Omega Final Phase. Try to look surprised when it happens. Talon allowed himself a grim smile. The Council thought they were springing their trap, never realizing they were about to become part of humanity's greatest deception. All hands, battle stations, he ordered, making sure his voice carried just the right note of desperate determination. May whatever gods there are have mercy on us all. The Council ships moved forward, their formation perfect, their victory assured. They had no way of knowing that every detail of their approach had been orchestrated, every tactical decision subtly guided by the apparent weaknesses humanity had shown them. They were about to learn that humanity's greatest weapon wasn't its hidden fleet or advanced technology. It was the patience to spend 50 years crafting the perfect illusion, waiting for the moment when their enemies would believe their own lies about human weakness. The trap was set. All that remained was for the Council to spring it. Technical Director Jasmine Park stood in Sanctuary Base Delta's quantum core, surrounded by technology that would rewrite the galaxy's understanding of physics. The massive chamber pulsed with ethereal light as power flowed through circuits that manipulated the fabric of reality itself. All quantum cores are synchronized, she reported through her neural link. Ready to initiate Protocol Omega Final Phase on your command. Understood. Director Sullivan's voice echoed in her mind. The Council fleet has begun their attack run. Time to show them what humanity's really capable of. Above the Earth, the Council's massive fleet opened fire. Their energy weapons, impressive by conventional standards, struck the planet's apparent defenses. The surface fleet performed admirably, playing their role of overwhelmed defenders to perfection. Such a waste, Grand Admiral Selkir sneered from his flagship. They could have surrendered and kept their dignity. Now we'll have to. He never finished the sentence. The ocean beneath his fleet began to boil. Initiating quantum mesh, Jasmine announced. Her fingers danced across holographic controls as 50 years of preparation culminated in this moment. Releasing gravitational locks, bringing primary fleet online. The Pacific Ocean parted like a curtain. The Hyperion rose first, its 3-kilometer length dwarfing the largest Council vessels. Its hull, composed of quantum-locked matter, seemed to drink in light itself. The sensors on Selkar's flagship couldn't even process what they were seeing. Their reading showed a void in space where the ship should be. More vessels emerged, dozens, then hundreds. Each one represented technology so advanced it would have seemed like magic to the Council's finest scientists. The quantum drives that powered them didn't just bend space, they'd rewrote its underlying laws. Their weapons didn't fire energy beams or projectiles. They temporarily suspended the laws of physics in targeted areas. By the eternal void, Selkar whispered, "What are they?" The answer came from Fleet Commander Ramirez, his voice calm and almost pitying. "We are humanity. And you should have asked yourselves why we were so willing to share our primitive technology with you." "All ships combat ready," Jasmine reported. "Quantum synchronization at 100%, ready to demonstrate our capabilities." "Select a suitable target," Sullivan ordered. "Something dramatic but uninhabited." Jasmine nodded, though no one could see it in the quantum core. Her consciousness merged with the fleet's targeting systems. She selected a small asteroid at the edge of the battle zone. The Hyperion fired a single shot. There was no beam, no explosion. The asteroid simply ceased to exist. Not destroyed. Erased. Every atom, every quantum particle that had comprised it was temporarily written out of reality itself. Panic spread through the Council fleet. Their sensors couldn't even process what had happened. This wasn't just advanced technology. This was science that rendered their understanding of physics obsolete. "Impossible," Selkar breathed. "Your species, you're barely out of your gravity well. Your ships use primitive fusion drives. Your weapons are basic particle beams." "No," Jasmine replied, letting her voice carry across all frequencies. "That's just what we showed you. What you chose to believe because it fit your preconceptions. Here's what we really are." The quantum mesh activated. A lattice of pure energy spread between the human ships, creating a barrier that existed partially outside normal spacetime. Council weapons fire simply vanished into it, their energy redirected into pocket universes. "Multiple Council ships attempting emergency jumps," reported one of Jasmine's technicians. "Let them run," Sullivan ordered. "But first, demonstrate why that would be unwise." Jasmine targeted a fleeing Council vessel. The Hyperion's quantum fields reached out, temporarily nullifying the laws of physics that made faster-than-light travel possible in a small area. The Council ship's jump drive imploded harmlessly, leaving it stranded. "This is humanity's true face," Jasmine broadcast. "Not the primitive species you thought you could conquer, but one that has spent 50 years preparing for this moment. One that chose peace first, offered friendship freely, and held back its true strength until you proved it necessary." The Council fleet hung motionless, caught between human ships that defied their understanding of reality. Their weapons were useless, their shields meaningless against technology that could locally rewrite physics itself. "Stand down," Sullivan's voice carried the weight of 50 years of preparation. "Power down your weapons and prepare to receive terms. The galaxy is about to change, and you can either be part of that change or become irrelevant to it. Choose wisely." In the quantum core, Jasmine watched as the Council fleet began powering down. They had no choice. Humanity had just demonstrated technology so advanced it made their finest achievements look like stone tools. The deception was over. Now came the harder part, building something new from the ashes of the Council's betrayal. But first, they had to make sure everyone understood exactly what humanity was capable of when pushed too far. Admiral Reyna Blackwood stood before the remnants of the Galactic Council 3 days after humanity revealed its true power. The Grand Chamber, once a symbol of Council authority, now felt different. The towering seats of the High Counselors no longer loomed quite so impressively over the speaker's podium. "The terms are not negotiable," she stated, her voice carrying to every corner of the chamber. "The old council is dissolved. In its place, we will establish the Galactic Alliance, an organization of genuine equals, not a hierarchy of supposed superiors and inferiors." High Counselor Nezarix's crystalline form shimmered with barely contained anger. "You deceived us all. Pretended to be primitive while developing weapons that violate the laws of physics themselves." "No," Reyna corrected. "We showed you exactly what you expected to see. You chose to believe we were naive children playing with technology beyond our understanding. That says more about your prejudices than our deception." The chamber erupted in overlapping voices until Fleet Commander Ramirez stepped forward. His presence, backed by the knowledge of what waited in Earth's oceans, brought immediate silence. "Let's be clear," he said quietly. "We could have revealed our true capabilities at any time in the past 50 years. Instead, we shared medical technology that saved billions of lives across the galaxy. We helped terraform worlds, cure diseases, and advance the common good. Only when you chose to betray that trust did we show our teeth." Director Sullivan, attending via quantum projection, added his voice. "The choice before you was simple. Join us in building something better, or fade into irrelevance. Humanity's quantum technology can either be a foundation for unprecedented cooperation or a reminder of why wise beings don't threaten species they don't fully understand." The new reality was already taking shape. Dozens of younger spacefaring races, long chafing under Council domination, had pledged themselves to Earth's vision of a genuine alliance. Even some Council members had quietly reached out, recognizing which way the stellar winds were blowing. Technical Director Park's hologram appeared next to Sullivan's. "We're prepared to share our real advances, not the primitive versions we previously revealed, but the true quantum science we've developed. Imagine medical technology that can rewrite genetic damage at the quantum level. Ships that can cross the galaxy in days instead of weeks. Energy sources that could power entire civilizations without harm to space-time. All freely given," Reyna continued, "to allies who prove themselves worthy of trust, not through submission, but through genuine cooperation and respect." In the days that followed, the galaxy transformed. The Council's attempt to seize Earth's technology had instead revealed humanity's true nature, not just their advanced capabilities, but their patience, wisdom, and commitment to peace whenever possible. One by one, species joined the new alliance. Even former Council hardliners found it difficult to resist the possibilities offered by genuine quantum science. Earth's universities opened their doors to alien students, teaching physics that the Council had declared impossible. Research facilities across the galaxy began exploring technology that would have seemed like magic mere weeks ago. Was it worth it? Reyna asked Sullivan during a private quantum communication. The decades of hiding, of holding back, of watching the Council abuse even our primitive technology. "Look at what's happening," he replied, gesturing to a hologram showing the galaxy's transformation. Former enemies working together, real advances being shared, genuine alliances forming based on mutual respect rather than fear. I'd say it was worth every moment of patience. Deep beneath Earth's oceans, the quantum fleet waited, no longer hidden but still ready. Their existence served as both promise and warning. Humanity's commitment to peace backed by the capacity for overwhelming force if needed. The lesson wasn't lost on anyone. Humanity had spent 50 years crafting the perfect deception, not out of fear or weakness, but from a position of unprecedented strength. They had chosen peace first, offered friendship freely, and revealed their power only when forced. In her private quarters on Nexus Station, Reyna recorded one final log entry about the old Council era. In the end, their greatest mistake wasn't underestimating our technology. It was underestimating our patience, our wisdom, and our capacity for both mercy and injustice. They thought they were dealing with children and found themselves facing beings who had transcended their understanding of reality itself. She paused, looking out at the galaxy. It would never be the same. But perhaps their mistake was a necessary one. From their betrayal, we've built something better. A genuine alliance of equals. A future where advancement comes through cooperation rather than conquest. And a reminder to all species that appearances can be deceiving, especially when dealing with a race that has learned to turn deception itself into an art form. The quantum transmitter hummed softly as it sent her words back to Earth. In offices, ships, and bases throughout human space, those who had maintained the 50-year deception could finally rest. Their patience had been rewarded, their wisdom vindicated. And deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, in the quantum core of Sanctuary Base Delta, the heart of humanity's true power pulsed steadily, a reminder that sometimes the greatest strength lies not in what you show the galaxy, but in what you choose to hide until the right moment.